What we are now witnessing is entirely unprecedented. 300 million Americans are locked down as their country gets raped. Total economic freeze. 32% unemployment and 47 million out of work. Hundreds of millions of workers are sitting at home, not working. About half the country is currently under some sort of a shelter-in-place order. The Fed estimated that nearly 67 million Americans work in occupations that are at high risk of layoffs because of social distancing measures. A record 3.3 million Americans filed initial jobless claims for the week ended March 21, and economists expect another 2.65 million or more to join them this week. And this is just the beginning. This is a unique shock that is unlike any other experienced by the U.S. economy in the last 100 years. The U.S. unemployment rate in February was 3.5%. If it surged to 30% in the second quarter, it would top the highest rate on record of nearly 25% during the Great Depression. We are in for a shitstorm as the pandemic winds down, then hits phase 2, and we end up in a greater depression. This virus was simply a catalyst to shock a broken economy into terminal velocity. The US dollar is going to be tested like no tomorrow. All this stimulus and QE is doomed to fail, and we will see hyperinflation combined with asset depreciation. Go long food and lead. 3.3 million unemployed in a single week, and this is just the beginning of the crisis. Lock and load, because this is about to get post-apocalyptic real fast. Chaos is coming by design. The pace at which Americans are losing their jobs is absolutely breathtaking. The U.S. Department of Labor reports a stunning increase of 3.3 million people sought initial jobless claims last week alone. The unemployment rate in the second quarter of 2020 is at 32.1%. In recent days, so many newly unemployed Americans have been trying to file for unemployment benefits that it has been crashing websites all over the country. About 67 million people work in jobs with high risks of layoffs, including sales, production, and food preparation. In addition, 27 million people work in businesses that require close physical contact, such as barbers and restaurant wait staff. So many newly unemployed Americans have been trying to file for unemployment benefits that it has been crashing websites all over the country. And as the American public sits at home, watching their disaster slowly unfold day after day, and ruminates on where all this money suddenly comes from, they begin to realize that the whole structure of our society is rotten to the core, based on a lie that says money or value comes from the productive industry. In other words, if you work hard then you will make more money than someone who doesn't work hard. The scales of justice ensure your rewards, your prosperity, is equal to your industry. The epiphany slowly arises, and the general populace sees it, they feel it. It expands with a wave of mounting and seething anger. Money doesn't come from productivity or industriousness, it's printed out of nothing by unelected, unidentified criminals hiding in the shadows. What gives them this right? Why is our government complicit in this perversion of morality? Who is going to stop it? Is there any sense in even going along with this corrupt charade any longer? These are the questions that will begin to run through the populace's collective minds as they sit at home and await their $1,200 checks, watching billions and trillions go somewhere else, never to be seen by them. The vast majority, more than 75%, of the $2 trillion in taxpayer monies will go to the already filthy rich, corporate CEOs and major shareholders. The little people will get a few crumbs thrown their way and will be expected to be extremely grateful for it. Lots of businesses will be letting go of people and claiming poverty so they can get free taxpayer money. A reasonable estimate of losses from large government programs is 10%. Expect $200 billion of taxpayer money to disappear into some very deep pockets. There is no going back to where we were before. The Fed can make up all the non-existent credit imagination can imagine, but confidence lost won't be replaced. The corporations outsourced our jobs and used debt to buy back stocks to increase the executives' compensation, while the Fed lowers interest rates to 0% to rob the savers and gives unlimited money to the banksters, only caring about stock markets, with no concern of inflation. The people have record unemployment, and they are trying to pay bills to take care of their families. This is World War III, people versus the banksters. Hey, fellow American. You are not going back to work next month or next year. The Second Great Depression has arrived. Trump won't tell you, but I will. You won't have rent, credit, or car payments. America has hit an iceberg, and your beach bucket is too small to bail you out. If you don't believe me, call your boss and ask him when you can come back to work. Money has stopped. Drive around your town. What's opened? 2 weeks of paychecks have already been missed. Most Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. 80% of all Americans have less than $1,000. Americans have massive student loans, credit cards, home, and auto debt. That $1,000 is already gone. Try buying food with a maxed credit card and no savings. Life has already turned desperate for many. I am weeping for my fellow man. For many, many Americans, life is going to be hell in the coming months, possibly years. Something like 3 out of 4 Americans live paycheck to paycheck. How in the world are they going to make ends meet? The courts will be jammed for years with bankruptcies. Corporations are not paying rent. Landlords are being told they can't kick non-paying renters out. And this is when the government introduces the universal basic income. They are already doing it in Italy, as there seems to be no end to this lockdown anytime soon. Many companies and jobs will be gone forever, as the Fed floods the market with fake paper money. This was a planned takedown. They have continually orchestrated these events since December 23, 1913. It is socialism for the rich and powerful. For the rest of us, it is survival of the fittest. A violent psychopath tells you there is an invisible enemy that's going to kill you and your family, and the only way to fight it is to give that psychopath absolute control over your life. And you do it without question. That's why violent psychopaths will always rise to power, a la the war on terror, war on drugs, the new war on pandemics, because you know we have to be on war footing. And it is always the war on us. Do not pay your mortgage. Do not pay your credit card bill. Do not pay your loans. Take your money out of the banks. Take care of yourself. The government will take care of the banks and corporations. You are on your own. This is New World Order full speed ahead. Welcome here. Subscribe. And please take some time to subscribe to my backup channels. I do upload videos there too. You'll find the links in the description box. You will also find a PayPal link if you want to make a donation. Thank you.